Hello, everybody. Drew here, and I wanted to take the time to talk about one of my favorite games. I don't think I've talked about it on this channel, and that's Guild Wars 2. This game is really a one of a kind, especially when it comes to MMOs. I have played pretty much every MMO that you could think of, whether it's, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, ESO, RuneScape, etc., etc. And I don't think I have played a more immersive and like just overall just a really interesting MMO out of all of them, to be quite honest. And that's because this MMO does one thing that other MMOs I don't think really does or does as well, and that's focusing on the world. Too many MMOs put most of their effort into instance content, maybe story, etc., etc. Final Fantasy 14 is known for its story. World of Warcraft is known for its, dungeons and raids. But I don't think I've played an MMO that had such a huge emphasis on the world. And to kind of give you an idea of what I mean, I'm playing on one of my characters here. This is my Revenant. Let's just go to a... Let's go here. This is one of the starter areas for the Char. It's like a animal character that you can play. Not a big fan of them. But let's kind of run through here. And as you can see, we already found one person. Right? And that'll be a trend, right? But if we look at the map here, we have got like points of interest, these little heart quests, which is a whole thing of its own that I think is really done. Right here, we got some swords here. Okay, let's see if we can get over there. Usually means something, right? Let's turn this around. And let's head on over here. We see some dead NPCs. Typically, this means there's some sort of an event. But I'm not really seeing... Is it attacked? I don't know. I was hoping that would have been a better example, but let's head to somewhere else. This is a dungeon entrance, so yeah, we're definitely gonna see someone there. But there is such a huge emphasis on just exploring. Let's go over here. I don't have this waypoint. Boom. Got a little bit of XP. Look at this. This is just a random event that I could do, And these events are kind of what is this game's bread and butter. And as you can see, this event... Oh, I'm getting my butt kicked. This event is accumulating to this quest here. Here we got another player here. Boom. Alright, this little quest is done. Boom, got him. Let's go ahead and get on our little mountain here. And it continues. There's another person. And what these events ultimately do is they naturally bring people together. And this is just a starter zone, right? The events get a lot better as you go through the expansions. One of my favorite expansions was the Heart of Thorns. It was the first one. And that area didn't even have these little heart quests, right? And to just kind of give a quick example, the heart quest, you go in an area, you read what it tells you to do, you do all these tasks, fills up the bar, and then you move on. You don't talk to anyone, you don't have to go back and turn the quest in, you just do the quest, and then you carry on. Oh, well, that didn't work out. You want to attack me? That's fine. Also, another thing, this is a lower level area. So if we take a look at my character stats, I have been brought down to level 15. And what that does is that means if I get a friend to try the game, I can go into these lower areas, not necessarily like one-shot everything, because it does bring me down. So What's up, dude? Oh. Oh, well, I fail. But yeah. Oh, keep going. So these events are kind of this game's bread and butter. Like I said, you could be just running around doing this map exploration stuff, and you'll see a big old dragon fight. And you can jump in there. You'll see NPCs constantly moving around. They're all voice acted as well. I don't have my. I switched keyboards, but now I don't have my numpad, unfortunately. Mounts is another thing this game does exceptionally well. They all have their own type of handling, their own skills, their own uses. As you can see, this mount's use is hovering over water. Kind of go through those real quick. You know, I got the Griffin roller beater. That event ended. I got some XP for it. And you get a lot of XP for doing all that stuff. So they really make it worth your while and make it to where you want to do the events. There's another one right next to me, speak of the devil. And that's just this little area. This map is absolutely huge. All the different expansions. They have already leaked another expansion. But yeah, I don't think any MMO does this as well. In terms, like the open world events, yes, I think ESO has those little, what are those called? I can't remember what those called, but the portal opens up from the sky and it drops down like an anchor. Those are cool, right? Final Fantasy XIV has fates, which are just kind of, in my opinion, like kind of like lazy design in terms of trying to do open world stuff. With that, no one really does them unless you're trying to level up like an alt job. I'm not sure if there's any other uses, but I don't really ever see anyone doing them. And there's also very little reason to go back to the older zones. This game, max level has stayed 80 since the beginning of time. Let's go to a expansion area. Let's go to a POF spot, right? So what this does, the gear doesn't ever get higher, right? Once you have the best gear, you have the best gear. Once you're level 80, you have the highest level that you can get, right? And then you start working toward these masteries, and that's how the progression goes, right? All the Path of Fire masteries is all about the mounts. Oh yeah, I could max out my Springer if I really wanted to. I'm trying to get my Roller Beetle leveled up. That's kind of what I'm working on right now. And I would like to get the Skimmer maxed out, because that means you can go underwater with it. But yeah, like Heart of Thorns, worried about learning the languages of the different people that live in the forest. That's gliding was utilized there, right? You have the Icebrood Saga. I'm not entirely sure what that's about. I haven't played in that one too much. I am very much a returning player. I don't have the more previous expansions. Do plan on buying those though, for sure, 100%. I know In the Dragons added fishing. The latest one added player housing. So each expansion, instead of just, you know what, I'm just gonna raise the level by 10 levels and make you do 20% more damage, but then give the enemies 20% more health. Right? That's just, it's like a carrot on the stick mentality of this endless gear grind. And, you know, some people like those. And if you do like that, you may not like this MMO. Because once you get the best gear, you have the best gear. And that's not going to change, right? There are, like, legendary gear grinds you can go for. But once you accomplish that, you're done with that, at least on that character. In this game, it focuses on expanding your horizons, expanding your gameplay, doing something else. And that accomplishes one very important thing. And that is, no matter what level you are, right? Level 80, we'll say level 80, right? In mastery system, right? Mastery 400, mastery 500. There is still a reason to go back to core Tyria. When I was farming for my roller beetle, some of the achievements I needed to do required me going back to like a level 20 zone. And that's just not only for this, but that's for everything in the game. And what that does is that makes every area relevant. See, there's another event. There's another event. You know what? Let's do that one, because that one's not really that hard. and I could definitely use a little bit of XP here. So let's, boom. Let's work on this, right? What will I talk? Oh, come back. Boom, there we go. I have to activate my C skill, because my C skill gives me a huge, huge damage buff. As long as my C skill is active, that's all I care about. There you go. It's like I'm pressing the skill. Nice. Alright. That quick little event. Got some XP here. Ooh, I almost maxed out my level here. Alright, anyways. But yeah, every area is relevant because someone might be going for cosmetic legendaries, going for different achievements that require you to go back to certain locations. You know, I know like going to the Heart of Thorns, and there is a meta event there, which meta events are huge, huge, large scale, requires a lot of people to accomplish, but they give absolutely legendary rewards, and they're 100% worth farming and doing. So people to this day, even though Heart of Thorns was the game's first expansion, will still go back and do that meta event. There is no dead zones. I was playing World of Warcraft for a very brief time. Going through the early areas, I didn't see any. Maybe the occasional new person or someone farming an alt, but other than that, there is no reason to go back to Stormwind. Stormwind was dead. Isn't that supposed to be a capital for the Alliance? And keep in mind, I was on a quote-unquote full server that was heavily Alliance focused, right? So, you know, I'm not trying to talk crap on WoW, but it's like those games, they release content and they release new content, and then that old content just becomes irrelevant. Becomes, you know, unless you just want to do it with your guild for the fun of it, or if there's like maybe a cool cosmetic for it, then you farm it and then you're done. But there is like little reason to go back. Path of Fire was the second expansion. I've been farming the crap out of that because I've been trying to finish out my mountain grind. And I'm not the only one either. If I go to Living World Season 4, there's a bunch of people there farming the Sky Scale. For the mastery line. I know Soto made it easier, but you know, people still want the mastery line from Living World 4. So yeah, like this game feels like a living and breathing world. And the cherry on top, the piece de the resistance, to make the thing that brings everything together is everyone is on one mega server. You don't have to worry about, oh man, you gotta join my server. The only time that that's important is when you're picking your quote-unquote server, right? For the World v World, which is the large-scale PvP. Other than that, all PvE content and SPVP, like the small-scale stuff, is on one server. At least region-based, right? NA and then EU is, of course, separated for ping reasons. But everyone in NA is on one mega server, and that means they can easily fill like zones with people, right? There's a limit of how many people that can be in this area, and if the area is starting to die down in terms of population, you'll see a little pop-up saying, hey, this this specific layer is getting really low pop. You want to switch over, we'll give you a small XP bump, so they even reward you for moving over. And they try to keep every area with people in it to, again, make the world feel alive. And that is the repeating thing about this game is the world feels alive. NPCs have voice acting, right? They're walking around, they're doing things. When you go out there, and a lot of those events are NPCs doing X, Y, or Z, and they need your help. Some of them will stand around like, hey, can you help me get to over here? That starts a public event. People automatically group together to do these events. And another cool thing is they have this battle pass thing here that's free. I just kind of wanted to throw it out there. No FOMO, right? Because you could just go here in these old rewards and get what you want. So it's so crazy. Like, there's no subscription. The base game is free, right? So if you want to try the game out, you have 80 levels and all the base game content, fractals, etc. is free. Expansion content, you buy once, and they're reasonably priced. You're looking at the first two expansions are bundled together for, I believe, $30, and every other expansion after that's between $25 and $30. And they go on sale, you know, at least every few months. So if you wanted to wait for a sale, I was kind of waiting on some sales to buy all of them. I might end up buying End of Dragons. But, yeah, the value you get for your money in this game is unmatched. So, this game isn't perfect. It does have some issues, and there's a lot of people on screen. Frames do start to dip. I don't, I would love to go in this game and crank everything out, but when it comes to like character models, I do have to turn those down, which blows my mind because this is an old game. I kind of wish MMOs focused more on that performance side. And right now I'm getting great FPS, and that's not the issue. It's just when you're doing the world bosses and there's a lot of people, it dips below 60. Kind of a small nitpick there. Kind of annoying. But yeah, I just... and I haven't even like delved into everything else this game does really, really well, like the combat, character building, building your own type of builds. I haven't even gotten into all that. This video was specifically to talk about my favorite thing about this game, and that is its world. And I've rambled on for almost 20 minutes now, so I'm probably going to finish up this video. If you want a more detailed review of everything about this, I will gladly make one of this game. You just gotta let me know. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to throw Guild Wars 2 video up there on my channel because this game, I think, deserves as many eyes on it as possible. And if you didn't like it before, I say give it another go. But when you play this game, you have to kind of come at it differently, like a different approach, because this isn't your traditional MMO, right? It does have a good story. You do play through the story, you get your gear, but post base game, the whole power leveling, like gaining more power, becomes not really there, other than some tiny upgrades. Maybe you're working on getting your ascended gear, but it's not an endless gear grind like other MMOs where you jump in, you play through the expansion, you get better gear. You play through the next expansion, you get better gear. You play through the next expansion, you get... No. As soon as you're done with the base game, you're going to have exotic gear, which that alone is enough to get through all the content in the game, aside for fractals, because fractals require agony, and I'm not going to get into all that. But gear is not the focus in this game. It's cosmetics, Fashion Wars. It's broadening what your account can do, like grinding for mounts, leveling up those mounts. There's End of Dragon mounts that I don't even have yet. There's like boats, there's fishing, player housing, like I've said before. Tons of strikes, which are big boss fights. Legendary gear farming that you could do. Legendary gear has the same stats as Ascended. They just look cool, and then they allow you to switch your stats on the fly. So it's more of a quality of life / fashion thing. But yeah, this game's great. That's kind of what that's all I'm gonna say. It's been about 20 minutes now, so I'm gonna end the video here. Like I said, if you want this more detailed review, a little bit more structured, let me know, and I'll gladly make one. But until then, I will see you guys later.